Preview Show.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown Preview Show, Week 5 edition, Episode 4 in 2025. Now, for the next half hour, we preview all the big games and tonight's SEFQ Friday Night Showdown Game of the Week. It's that time right here at the top. Let's hear from our Game of the Week broadcast duo. It's Paul Wappel and Adam Anderson, bringing you the sights, sounds, and all tonight in our Game of the Week. The return to the Central State 8. It's Southeast hosting Jacksonville. Guys, what are the initial thoughts on this one?
Yeah, Southeast enters this game 1-3, Jacksonville 2-2. For the Spartans, they're without 5 players tonight. They were suspended from fighting an altercation during the game earlier this week. It was finished on Monday, the game from last weekend. So they're going to be without 4 starters tonight. Spartans going to have a tough hill to climb tonight.
Yeah, especially playing an offense like Jacksonville. It's your traditional, service academy type offense. It's going to be running the ball, triple option type stuff. That's hard when you're losing starters because it takes a few plays to get accustomed to that kind of playing style.
Yeah, and Jacksonville loves to pound the ball. They've got that option offense, and they do it very, very well.
Yeah, it's worked well. It's Coach Brown's roots. He went back to it a few years ago. I think it's really paid off for them.
All right, Sammy?
Thanks, guys. We're going to check back in with you both in just a moment, but first let's meet the home team. It's Southeast. The Spartans, they're coming off a tough Monday loss to Springfield High, but Southeast, they're hoping their successful Lincoln game plan that worked to a win helps lead them to success here against Jacksonville.
I've learned that we can really start off a game good and like come out with energy and intensity and just come out ready to play.
I think we were just ready for it. We were waiting for it to happen. We've been working hard all summer for it, so we just really wanted to show people that we could actually get a win early in the season, not just against 2 other teams.
This is what you got to do. D-line, you got one job. D-end, you got one job, all that stuff. And I think that's kind of what let us do so well because then kids don't got to think. And I think that's something that's going to set us up really well for Jacksonville is, same thing. Hey, you got one rule, do your one rule, do your job, and, let everything else, do theirs.
Honestly, I feel like we just picked up the intensity a lot more this week during practice, just going harder every rep, a lot of more reps, just bringing the intensity and energy.
We felt like we could have beat them last year, but we didn't, so we just used that to come out tomorrow to play them.
Yeah, so after everything Monday, just, keep things simple. You got, young quarterback, young running back, keep things simple and let them go out and have fun. Don't put so much pressure on them. Just let them understand that, hey, yes, it's homecoming. Yes, there's going to be, there's media and all that stuff. Hey, it's still a football game. Let them go have fun. Let them play the game that they love.
Like Trey said, definitely staying together as a team whenever things go wrong, not breaking down, and then finishing our drives. There's been plenty of times we get to the red zone and just can't punch it in, so definitely finishing those drives.
That Southeast guys last year against Jacksonville was a little bit of a struggle, but they feel that game wasn't a true show of what they could have done last year. The question is, what can they do this year against Jacksonville with a limited squad?
It's going to be, like we said, it's going to be tough for Southeast. They're going to have their backup quarterback playing, some other backups playing. They don't have a lot of players on the roster. They can't turn the ball over and really have to play a perfect game, I think.
Yeah, and Coach Borders talked about earlier this week with Sammy is you just got to go out and do your job. Know what your assignments are and get your job done. Taking care of the football will be paramount for them. If they can limit turnovers, hold on to the ball, maybe sustain a few long drives to keep this Jacksonville offense off the field, that might do very well for them tonight.
Yeah, they're definitely going to need to do that. Jacksonville averages 35 points a game. They've got a great quarterback, senior Atchison, and Ackerman is one of their running backs. I mean, they're loaded.
Yeah, they are loaded. And it'll be tough. Again, this is a unique offense. 25, 30 years ago, this would be something normal you see every day. But this option style attack isn't something they're going to see the rest of the year. So especially on a short week with having to play on Monday, the practice time was probably pretty limited. So I know Coach Borders will have his guys ready to go, though.
All right, Sammy?
Another brief Paul and Adam hiatus so we can meet the visitors. It's the Crimsons, as they alluded to, a team that has shown the ability to dominate, but 2 great performances as well as 2 lackluster ones against some stronger opponents. However, the Crimsons feel they're finding themselves at the right time, at the heart of their schedule.
Ups and downs, highs and lows. We lost to 2 ranked teams in Highland and SHG. I feel like we've worked hard to get better each week. And it's just when you're playing young guys, it's about consistency.
A lot of heart and determination with this squad, always fighting, not giving up. The last few weeks against
Griffin, I think we really found ourselves coming together as a team and keep fighting even when we're down or not.
I like our moxie. I like the way that we come out to play. I think that we've gotten more and more physical each week of the season as well, and that bodes well with the heart of the season and the heart of the Central State 8 Conference coming up.
Teams don't see it very often, and that comes in and helps us a lot with people not being able to go against it all year like everything else. And we come in and we run it all year, so we know what we're doing. It's up to them if they can stop it.
I think we're really dynamic. We can run the ball up the middle. You know, we got great players, me, Terrion Jackson, Bub Jackson. We can pass if we need to. We can throw if we need, or we can throw, we can run. I mean, it's whatever coach needs us to do.
We're going to attack you inside out first. You know, triple option. You got to stop our fullback. Ackerman's got 300+ yards. Our quarterback, who's the kind of the maestro of it all, he's been able to get the ball to pitch phase, and we've got track athletes out there.
I mean, we've had it circled on the we've had it circled on the calendar all year to where it's games we need to win, and that's what we need to look at. But right now, it's just 1 week at a time. Can't look past any team that we have on our schedule.
There's Jacksonville. The Crimsons 1-1 in conference so far. Q&D a big game against Springfield High. So Jacksonville, they're looking much prettier in the standings with the win tonight. Guys, are they enough firepower to dominate once again against Southeast?
Yeah, I think they do. Quarterback Braden Hutchison, like Mark Brown just said, the coach said, he's the maestro that kind of makes it all happen. And he's got some track stars, track athletes all around him, speed. They can run the ball well, just dominating.
I expect a big game out of Jeremiah Jackson. Leads the team in rushing at his wingback position. So he's going to get pitches, a few handoffs, but he's a guy who can do a lot of things in space. Only a sophomore, played a lot as a freshman as well, so he's grown up quickly here in the Central State 8.
They've got Darren Henry and Jeremiah Jackson and Terrion Jackson.
Yeah.
They are just, they do have a lot on offense, and it's going to be tough for Southeast to stop that.
Absolutely. You know, Coach Grounds is one of the greats here in Central Illinois, the elder statesman of the Central State 8, 25 years at Jacksonville. He's going to have his team ready to go because he is already thinking about playing in Week 10.
No doubt about that. Sammy?
Thanks, Paul. Adam, I'll come back to you both after the break in a few minutes. But first, it's time to meet our home and away player to watch for tonight's game of the week. First up, Southeast Spartans dealing with a tough situation, missing a few key guys. And we don't have a much specific wide receiver video of this guy, but it's Josiah Turner, a tall junior weapon for Southeast. He was out last season against Jacksonville, fired up for this one. He's a team leader on this squad. Watch out for him to make an impact with some Spartan offensive weapons missing. Now, you may call my Jacksonville player to watch a cop-out. Fair enough, but I think it's their entire run game. You heard it a little bit in Paul and Adam's breakdown. Ackerman, Hutchison, and company, they're liable to hurt you out of the backfield, and I see this team mixing things up, throwing out a few different looks, and in order to get the win tonight against Southeast. Now, coming up after the break, we have plenty more of our pregame show to go with our game of the week broken down. It's time to look at a few other big games in the area, including a battle down in Quincy between the Raiders and the Senators.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown Preview Show.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown pregame show. Our game of the week, Jacksonville at Southeast, is about 20 minutes from kickoff. We broke that one down before the break, and we welcome back Paul and Adam as it's time to turn our attention to a few other big games here in Central Illinois, previewing an extra game with so many good ones on the schedule. First, in the Central State 8 West, Springfield High at Quincy Notre Dame. The Senators, they look good, but Quincy Notre Dame likely has a rebound performance in mind after that loss to SHG. Guys, who do you have in this one?
It's been like manner.
Yeah, I think Quincy Notre Dame will come out firing on all cylinders tonight after that tough loss to SHG last week. Springfield High, they're awesome. No, Brody Scheffler has thrown for over 1,000 yards, 17 Ds, Adam, 1 interception through 4 games.
They're going to need all 17 of them, I think, tonight, and possibly quite a few more. I think it could be a shootout over there in Quincy. I would imagine Raider fans are upset watching that game back last week. I felt like they left a few chances out there to pull off a big win against Sacred Heart Griffin at Sacred Heart Griffin. Springfield High needs this win tonight, though, if they want to talk about the playoffs.
Yeah, Cale Thurman having another outstanding season. Scheffler, Thurman, it seems like they've been there forever, but and that's
Thurman versus Dolman going to Western tonight over in Quincy could be a great matchup.
There you go. I think Adam's right. I think you're going to see a lot of points in that game, and we'll see how it goes. It should be a good one though. 3-1 and 3-1, 3-1. Yeah. Sammy.
Game 2 over to the Sangamo Olympia. Tough loss to Athens, hosting 4-0 Williamsville. It's still looking like a Maroa-Williamsville collision course in the Sangamo for me. Olympia, that lost Athens hurt their case, but they're at home tonight. Do the hosts have a chance against the Bullets, guys?
It's going to be tough for Stanford Olympia. 3-1. You said Williamsville 4-0. Tough to beat Williamsville any week, but it's just their offense is so good. The Williamsville Bullets.
I think Olympia will score some points, but are they going to be able to slow down that Williamsville offense? I don't see how they can do that this year. I know going up to Stanford Olympia, that's not an easy place to play, and the last time Williamsville was up there, they did lose, so that has to be in the back of Coach Coons' mind, but he's going to have those Bullets ready to go. They're thinking about bigger things.
Yeah, Stanford Olympia coming off a tough loss to Athens, who has improved this year, and we'll see how they bounce back.
It's key to potentially staying in the Sangamo race to win the Sangamo Conference for both teams to win this game tonight.
Okay, Sammy, back to you.
Now, final game to preview, back to the Central State 8. The East this time, MacArthur 4-0, 2-0 in conference. Glenwood 4-0 and 2-0 in conference. We will have a clear leader in the eastern half of the CS8 after this one. Who will it be, guys?
And after high school, Isaiah plans on...
That's 4-0 and 4-0. Decatur, MacArthur, Chatham, Glenwood. Glenwood had that game for the ages against Rochester last week, overtime, the big win. What do you think about this one?
I don't know. Coach Bates has got his guys fired up, playing really good football at 4-0. Won probably 2 to 3 games that they weren't favored in, and they're not going to be favored tonight against Chatham Glenwood. I know he'll use that as a chip, but man, they just look. Colton Knadler and the Titans are so good. They're so good up front, and I think that's something that didn't get talked about enough in the beginning of the year. But with that win last week, I think everybody in the state took notice.
Yeah, and Knadler, the quarterback, who's already the all-time passing leader at Glenwood, had 91 yards rushing, had a great game. He's talked about the offensive line did a great job last week for Glenwood.
He kept him relatively clean against Rochester, which we saw what that D-line can do against Mount Zion and getting pressure and sacks. So I think Coach Bates needs to get some turnovers for MacArthur tonight, get his guys, and I know he'll have them fired up, ready to go, but it'll be a tall task for him.
All right, that should be a great game. Sammy, back to you.
Thanks, Paul and Adam. 15 minutes until kickoff over at Spartan Field. I'll toss it back to you both shortly, but now it's time to check in with our Carson Gordy. We welcome Carson in for an update on the eastern side of Central Illinois. Carson, a few really exciting matchups on your end. Break them down for me.
Hey Sammy, we got a lot of good football games over here, and I think one particular game, it feels like a de facto conference championship game in that Apollo Conference. The Ahmed Seymour Bulldogs taking on the Mount Zion Braves, and something's got to give. Bulldogs haven't lost a conference game since the COVID-19 pandemic, and they're looking to win their 5th straight conference title. But tonight's likely going to be one of their biggest challenges yet. The Braves' offense is loaded. Their tight end J.C. Anderson is a 4-star recruit who's going to play for the Ole Miss Rebels after this season. But their top pass catcher is actually Jacob Harvey. Harvey already has 8 touchdowns this year, the most in the state of Illinois. His coach says Division I coaches, they're interested in Harvey, but he's still waiting for his first official offer. Preseason, his coach talked about the situation.
With the transfer portal and everything that's going on, I mean, it's hard to get scholarships. I mean, from talking to coaches and what they're doing, they may take one high school kid at each position, or they may not take any high school kids and just take portal kids. It's frustrating, but there's a lot of coaches that notice them. There's a lot of coaches that know, and they want to see the first few games here. But Jacob's, from everything I know and everything I've done, I mean, he's a Division I kid.
I expect both the Bulldogs and the Braves to put up plenty of points in action. So far, both schools averaging over 34 points per game. We got some other good games in the area. It looks like Monticello is starting to find their footing after losing a lot of seniors last season. Sages sit at 3-1 and scoring over 30 points in back-to-back weeks, but tonight is a big challenge. Bloomington Central Catholic is undefeated and has one of the best rushing attacks in Central Illinois. And the two teams, they do have one common opponent. They both played Tolono Unity. The Sages lost to the Rockets by 4 touchdowns, while the Saints beat Unity by 7. And both schools in Champaign hunting to get back in the playoffs after missing it last season. Centennial off to a really good 3-1 start, and their defense has stole the show. The Chargers, they've held really good offenses like Central and Danville to a combined 13 points. And they're just a couple wins away from booking their spot in the playoffs. Tonight, they got a road trip at Peoria Notre Dame, who's 2-2 this year. And Champaign Central reviving their playoff hopes last week. They dominated Urbana for their first win in 2025. It could be a turning point this year for the Maroons after losing close games to Springfield and Centennial. Tonight, they're home, taking on Richwoods. Expect the Maroons to feed their star running back Zaire Aker early and often. Here's some other top games in the region. St. Joe looking to bounce back and take out Rantoul. The Spartans, they lost last week to Unity by 30 points. I'm Carson Gordy. Thank you for watching. Back to you, Sammy.
Thanks, Carson. And don't forget, we'll have all the highlights from tonight's game coming up on the SEFCU Friday Night Showdown recap show. The recap show kicks off at 10:15 over on News Channel 20, and I'll be breaking down all the action from the gridiron. Again, that's tonight at 10:15 p.m. And taking a live look here at Southeast Spartan Field, we'll check back in there live after the break. We check in with the rest of our Friday Night Showdown team, including a weather update from our own Darren Leeds and something fun from Spencer Davis.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show. We're going to be heading back down to Southeast right here in Springfield to check in with the rest of our Friday Night Showdown crew. We start with meteorologist Darren Leeds. Just poke my head out, Darren. It looks fairly nice here in Springfield. Is it that way for the entire market?
Yeah, that's right, Sammy. Very nice day out here. Now that we've finally lost the heating from the sun, temperatures have dropped pretty substantially. During our 5 o'clock hour, we were around 87 degrees. We're now at 72 and still slowly dropping. Not much of a breeze out here, so again, not really making it feel like we've got a little bit of that chill in the air whatsoever, but still very comfortable. Once again, probably the biggest issue, I would say, is the little bugs that have kind of been coming out here recently. If you bring some bug spray, you're going to be good in t-shirt and pants, t-shirt and shorts, long sleeves, if you like to layer up just a little bit. But it should be a very mild night out here for our game at Spartan Field, along with our other games across all of Central Illinois. That'll do it for me here, reporting live at Spartan Field. Meteorologist Darren Leeds. Sammy, back to you.
Thanks, Darren. We take a look at the conference standings for a few of our notable conferences here in Central Illinois. Springfield High adding a win over Southeast Monday. They made it a tie at the top with SHG in the CS8 West. UND tied up with Jacksonville right behind, followed up by Lanphier in Southeast. Glenwood, they jumped to the top of the CS8 East with their 1-point OT victory over Rochester. MacArthur, they had to win over Eisenhower, while U High win over Lincoln. Meanwhile, in the Sangamo, Maroa and Williamsville 4-0. Athens, they beat Olympia last week to even things at 3-1. New Berlin and Pleasant Plains, both winners in week 4 to get to 2-2. Now, high school football, it brings excitement to the entire community, including those not in between the white lines. Now, our sideline reporter Spencer Davis is live at Southeast, and he's talking stadium improvements over the recently redone Spartan Field. Spencer, take it away.
Thanks, Sammy. And the important thing about being a fan is making sure you have a good experience at the game, and that's exactly what's going on here in District 186, and specifically here at Springfield Southeast. They've redone their track. It looks awesome. They've got a new press box up. It looks fantastic. They've got a lot of new restrooms, but more than anything, I'm still a huge fan of this grass field behind us. I like, turf's got that, you can rain on it as much as you want. It doesn't get muddy or anything, if you keep it up. But a grass field just feels like football to me. So while you have all these nice renovations around, we've got new concrete structures behind us with a new concession stand and restrooms. It's still that classic football field look with that grass field behind us. But again, a brand new press box that our staff is going to be able to utilize. And more than anything, it's just a great night for football. Back to you in the studio, Sammy.
Thanks, Spencer. I love the grass as well. They have it over at Glenwood. I'm a big fan. I spent some time at the field this week, and it's nice having that Spartans back at home. One fewer team sharing things over at Memorial here in Springfield. Now, when we come back, we'll wrap things up on the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show before sending things back out to Paul, Adam, and Spencer for Friday Night Showdown Game of the Week.
Welcome back to the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show.
To take the field, we are getting ready for that game of the week. A few minutes away from kickoff over at Spartan Field, Southeast and Jacksonville. But that's our time for the Green Hyundai Friday Night Showdown preview show. Southeast hosting Jacksonville in just a few moments. But we'll be back next week for our SEFCU Friday Night Showdown game of the week. In week 6, there will be a whole lot of blue in this match. Back over to the Sangamo for our game of the week. It's Porter on the road against Auburn. Two sides who would love to tally a Week 6 victory in conference, pulling themselves back into a fight for a playoff spot. That one next Friday night. And sliding back over to our current game of the week, we have to go over the staff picks. Spencer and I, safe to say we are desperate for a win and a correct pick. We are both 0-3, and we are once again agreeing. All three of Spencer, Carson, and myself going with Jacksonville 28-6. My own score prediction: Spencer 35-6, and Carson a 34-14 final. While 3-0 pair of broadcasters, you guessed it, they picked the same team once again. Both picked Jacksonville. Paul, however, expecting a closer game in that one. Southeast hoping for the old broadcasters curse. The full panel picking Jacksonville in this one. Spencer and I haven't gotten a single game right, so something has got to give. But guys, that's going to do it for us here in our preview show. I'm going to see you back here at 10:15, and it's going to be my time to hand things back over to Paul, Adam, and Spencer. And I want everyone to enjoy this game. It's going to be fun. You better be back over at News Channel 20 at 10:15 for all the highlights. Thanks, guys.